Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Dr. Staci here. I'm so excited you guys decided to join me this evening. I'm really fired up after being back of spending a little over a week in Bora Bora with LifeWave's elite brand partners, with our president Meredith and our vice president Ryan, and all the amazing people that spent time together, really getting to talk about all the amazingness that's coming in LifeWave. So I don't know if I'll be dropping hints tonight or not. I'm not really for sure. They didn't make us sign an NDA before, but I did sign one for the field advisory board, so I'm not really for sure on that. But we'll see what comes out tonight. You guys never know with me, right? But I do want to share, of course, for those of you that are guests this evening, that the information that I'm sharing tonight, I'm not making any claims to treat or cure or diagnose or prevent anything that's going on with you. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not your medical doctor, right? You're going to check with your physician if you have any questions in regards to your health or any medications, or if you're pregnant or nursing. Of course, I have 2 PhDs, one in integrative medicine and one in functional medicine. And even though they have the word medicine in them, I don't focus in allopathic medicine. I focus in holistic types of medicines, different types of tools and modalities to help your body get into balance, stay into balance, and keep you young and youthful and vibrant and healthy for a very long time. And so tonight we're going to be talking about LifeWave's technology. And this technology, this little round Band-Aid looking thing that's sticky on one side and smooth on the other. And I love that people message me and they say, "What patch are you putting on right there?" I'm like, I don't know. Whichever one I happen to grab out of this bag right here that wasn't Silent Nights or Alavita, because those are nighttime patches. And you guys know I don't look like I'm ready for bed, right? So whatever patch I grabbed, it could be an Eon, a Carnosine, a Glutathione. I always wear my patches below my belly button. It's just what I like to do every day, throw them on and go about my day. But I always put a patch right here so you guys can see it. So I'm going to talk to you tonight about these patches and what they are, what they do, how they work, how they can help you in your health journey. And of course, we're going to do our Q&A. So that chat section is going to be for you to be able to ask questions. You know, with 350 plus people enrolling in the waiting room every second, there's no way to unmute and let you guys share your stories and ask. So thank you, Kath. I appreciate you. But I do want to be able to help you and help you in such a way that's going to show you what patches would best benefit you. And in order to do that, I want you to understand that when you're asking these questions, we're not going to talk in terms of diseases. Like, don't tell me you have MS or diabetes or heart disease or you've had a stroke or cancer, any of that, right? We don't talk about that in LifeWave. We don't ever again claim to treat or cure any diseases. And so we don't look at the body in terms of diseases. As doctors, whether you're medical, I can't say that, as doctors in the holistic world, we don't look at the body in terms of diseases. We look at organs. We look at systems in the body, the way the body is functioning at the cellular level. How are the tissues functioning? That's how I'm going to talk to you tonight with LifeWave. And that's what I want you to think about from this day going forward, because I get lots of texts and lots of emails with all these questions. And I'll say, well, for the brain, we're going to talk about these patches. Or for the blood sugar, we're going to talk about the pancreas. Let's look at how we can help support the pancreas function correctly. And at the end of the day, you guys, that's how your body feels. It doesn't know what Alzheimer's is or dementia or diabetes. It knows there's an imbalance of some kind, and it's always seeking homeostasis. Your body always wants to be in balance. And so in my life of almost 50 years now, I'll be 50 in a couple months. For those of you that are going to Greece with me, we're going to be celebrating that on that cruise. For me, it's always been about holistic health, right? I had a great grandmother that, you know, we had gardens and she had chickens, and my mom had gardens, and my dad was a hunter, and my great grandmother and grandmother, they had little bottles of tinctures and oils and things in their cabinets, and you know, they had all the medicinal stuff that was not allopathic medicine. So that's just how I grew up. And I grew up going to a chiropractor when I needed somebody for something to help my body get into balance in a physical way. I was really athletic and into a lot of sports, and you know, so we would utilize that versus a popping a pill. So it's always been my world. I was a school teacher for about 10 years. I love teaching, I love training, I love educating people. Promise I try to talk slow, but I get really excited and passionate about this. And there is a lot of information in my brain I want you all to know, but you can't know it all in 30 minutes, of course. We will have 30 minutes of Q&A, if I even talk 30 minutes. It may be longer, we'll see. But I want you to be able to get the gist of this and how it works. But I also want you to understand that foundational to this tool that I'm going to be sharing with you is your food on your plate. Your plate, whether it's something you've grown or killed, that should be what's on your plate, right? That nutrition is foundational. The water you consume on a daily basis, you guys know I love to put lime in my water. That's why it looks a little cloudy. There's fresh squeezed lime in there, organic limes, help to alkalize the body, detox the body, right? That water is foundational. Sleep is foundational. I know a lot of you on here, probably 60 or 70% of you, don't get a solid 8 hours sleep at night, where you like head hits the pillow, you're out, and then poof, you wake up in the morning and have no recollection of that sleep time. We're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about how this technology can help with your sleep. A lot of you probably don't get out in nature every day. It's so important foundationally to get outside, to ground, to connect, to go for a walk or a jog or a bike ride or a swim or something. Unless you live in Florida, then we don't swim in lakes because there's alligators and there's sharks that are going crazy here in Florida for some reason. They're out of control. Now, I was in Bora Bora last week, like I said, with LifeWave, and we swam with the sharks. They were about 5 to 6 foot black reef tip sharks. And they were nice as could be. They were everywhere in the water. I was scared of the stingrays, but the sharks were super friendly. But we get in the water to exercise, right? We get in nature to connect. We connect with people. You guys, we're over 400 people here right now. We're connecting on Zoom right now. We like to connect with people in person. We like to meet at coffee shops and at people's homes and be able to get to sit down and talk and meet with people. That connection's important. It's foundational to your health. You know what else is foundational to your health? Having time alone. Right? We've got to have that prayer and meditation, breath work, that private, quiet time. We've got to have time to de-stress, right? To turn social media off, turn off the phone. For me, it's 11 o'clock at night. I swipe down, do not disturb goes on, and nighty night, right? And then, of course, in the morning, that's my time. I get up in the morning and have my quiet time to do the things I like to do. But you have to have that. And I say all of this because I want you to understand that this is not a miracle cure-all, fix-all, like I'm going to put a patch on and 30 years of problems are gone in 30 days. I want you to know that it's foundational for you to take care of yourself. Maybe you make baby steps every day in that direction, but you're going to be making those steps. And you know what? When you're using this patch, you actually feel like it. You have more energy. You have more mental clarity, focus, concentration. You sleep better. You're in less pain. You have a sense of well-being like you've never had before. I'm sure if we all raised our hands right now, there would be probably 300 and something of you on here. I don't know how many guests we have that said, yeah, I've experienced those things. That's me. I don't have as much pain, or I sleep through the night now, or gosh, I'm actually a nice person. I like people again, or people like me again, right? Or maybe I like my spouse that I didn't before. I don't know, but we know that using this technology will help you in making those better choices. So if you're not making the best health choices right now, or you don't have all those things foundational in your life, know that they are coming because this technology will help you. It'll help you physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. How do I know this? Because I've experienced it, right? I've been patching for a little over 3 years now. But I've also been witness to thousands of other people that are patching and having success with this technology in all those areas. And sometimes for people, it's emotional things that change first. And sometimes for people, it's physical things that change first. But I want you to understand that you can't pick what gets improved in your body and your quality of life first. You have to be patient with the process. Remember, the body is always seeking homeostasis. It knows how to heal itself. It knows what that balance looks and feels like. You were born with it, remember? No, you probably don't. But you were born with perfect balance. Most all of us, okay? Even those of us that came into the world breech. We talked about that on the Zoom today for some reason that came up. We were talking about remembering your birth, right? We all came from these master cells that came together in utero to start to form these pluripotent master cells that started to form the child, the baby in the womb. And when we were born, of course, then some of those cells stayed changeable. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But know that your body does know how to heal itself. Things get out of balance over the years. How many of you have ever been in a car accident? Not me. My husband has. I think he's been in enough for, I don't know, 10 or 12 families. But how many of you ever wrecked a dirt bike or a motorcycle or a four-wheeler or a three-wheeler or a bicycle? How many of you ever fallen out of a tree? I think I've talked about falling out of trees a lot today lately. You guys, right? You're raising your hands like, yeah, that's me. I've done those things, right? I've had accidents in my past. I've had injuries. I've had surgeries. Have you guys had surgeries? Those are things that cause the body to be out of balance. It's okay. It's part of life sometimes, and sometimes it stinks, but it gets our body out of balance. How many of you have had stress? Stress in your job, stress in your family, in your relationships, stress with a coworker, stress with a next door neighbor. Like we've all had internal stress. I want this for myself. I want this out of life. And there's this internal dialogue that's stressful because it hasn't happened yet. So we're all exposed to stress in our lives, right? Those things cause the body to get out of balance. I don't know if you know this or not, but you can take everything physical and point back to an emotional root cause. That's real. That's really, really real. Even the CDC, and I'm not saying we go off to the CDC, but even the CDC states that 90% of diseases have an emotional root, a stress-based root. Something was stressed in order to cause this to happen in the body. So we know that's a big component of it. Obviously, we know food is a component. I was talking about veggie straws again today. They're not vegetables. Okay, veggie straws are not vegetables. There's not an ounce of a vegetable. There's no green bean in those green ones, and there's sure no sweet potatoes in those orange ones. God knows what the yellow ones are. Squash, zucchini, I don't know. They're not. They're not any of that. And so your food, maybe that you thought was good for you, isn't. I can't tell you how many times I Zoom with people and they're like, what did you say about pork? What's wrong with bacon? Why can't I have bacon? I'm like, oh, we're not going to go into the pig story right now and what they do and what they eat or don't eat and how they don't sweat and don't process anything. And they're just like, yep, full of parasites and toxic. So we're not going to discuss that tonight either. But those types of things get our body out of balance, not to mention chemicals. Personal care products, your makeup, your skincare, your shampoo, your soap, your cleaning products, all this kind of stuff can throw your body out of balance. So what is LifeWave's technology going to do to bring your body into balance over time? Let's talk about that. So this patch, sticky on one side, smooth on the other, non-transdermal. You saw me put this on, take it off, put it on, nothing happened. You did not see anything happen when I did this, right? So that means nothing's going into my body. Nothing just came out of my body when I put it on. So how is this working? Well, it's not working like your traditional transdermal patch, like your nicotine or pain control patch or estrogen patch or weight loss patch. That's not it. I was on a Zoom a minute ago and the lady said, what patch is there for weight loss? And I'm like, ooh, we don't have a weight loss patch. That's not the way this technology works. And so we have other patches that help assist the body into balance. We know excess weight is a body out of balance. Could be lots of different reasons. Is it hormones? Is it stress? Is it inflammation? Is it toxins? Right? I did a whole Zoom on that. You guys can find it on my YouTube channel. But basically, using this does not put anything into my body. No chemical, no nutrient, no medicine, no herb, nothing. So what I can say right now from the very beginning is that means there's no contraindications with anything that you're currently doing. No side effects, no interactions at all, because there's nothing entering your body. So I want you to understand that. The second thing I want you to understand is that this is a wearable light technology. light, as in light, may there be light, or we all came from light. We are light. We are all light beings. I don't know if you've seen the cells in your body under a microscope. I don't particularly take mine out and put them under a microscope, but I've seen videos of cells under the microscope and they literally are light. Light is being emitted from our cells. That's scientific fact, biology. You can actually see the conception of the sperm and the egg and the spark of light that happens at that very moment that conception takes place from the egg and the sperm. That spark that happens is just like, wow. And there's light there at the very beginning before that baby even starts to form in utero. So we are all beings of light. This is a wearable light technology. So how does this work with my body's light? So David Schmidt is our inventor of this technology. And I'll just say that man is nothing shy of a genius. Remember I mentioned earlier, there are some things that are coming, like this is mind blowing. I can't even go there with what's coming next yet. Maybe a little bit later in the Zoom, it'll slip out something, I don't know. But know that he invented this technology. He has been inventing these patches for 20 years, over 20 years, actually. This started as a special undercover Black Ops Navy SEAL technology. This did not start as, oh, let me just start this company that gets out there and word of mouth talks to people and shares these patches. This was David, as an inventor, 22 years ago, contracted by the Department of Defense, our US government, to work with the Navy SEALs on their mini submission to invent survival equipment. Not patches, survival equipment. Okay. So he was doing things that were not heard of in the world of survival equipment. And the SEALs were, the team was so impressed. They said, what can you do about our SEALs problem with being on amphetamines and uppers? Their sustainability in the field is not very good, obviously. And their quality of life's poor. They need energy, endurance, and stamina. And he invented the first patch over 20 years ago called Energy Enhancer. And Energy Enhancer turns body fat into fuel. That could kind of help out with weight loss a little bit since it burns an extra 300 to 600 calories a day. But it helps with that stamina and endurance and energy in the field or in your home. Whatever you're doing, wherever you're going, just to give you that little extra. It works with the mitochondria, right, which are the organelles in all your cells, and being able to help to expand that cell-to-cell communication, the light coming off your cells, the energy coming out of your cells. And that was so powerful and so effective for the SEALs back then. Things were going great. And as those of you know, most all of you are probably in the United States right now, maybe not if you're watching the replay, but here in the US back in 2001, 9/11 happened. And unfortunately, our country pulled out of that project with the SEALs in order to protect the country and bear more arms. And so David thought, gosh, this was pretty impressive. I need studies and facts because I'm a scientist, I'm a researcher. He has patents. He needs to know that this is really, really, really real, not a placebo. So he went to Stanford University with Richard Quick. He's a 6-time USA Olympic swim coach. Started working with the female gold medalist athletes, the swimmers, to do studies. And 2 years later, birthed LifeWave. So we are right now at our 20-year anniversary. Why have you not heard of it? I don't know. Why didn't I hear of it 20 years ago? And actually, now that I know what I know, I did hear of it 20 years ago, because when this was used with the USA Olympic swim team, and there was a huge controversial because we swept the gold in the Olympics that year. It was like 2008, 2009, and we swept the gold back then. It was all over the papers. I remember my parents talking about it. It was all over the news. They are using something that's putting something in the body. You can't alter the body. They're going to be disqualified. So they had to go and test these patches, the Olympic board, and they had to show Anti-Doping USA, Anti-World Doping. They are not putting anything into the body. They are acceptable. And yes, the USA could sweep the Olympics with the gold medals that year. So I did remember that after the fact, but I didn't remember that back then. And I wish I would have known, right? I could have used that when I was an athlete, when I was younger, but my poodle wants to join in tonight for some reason. Come here, Callie. You want up? Nope. She doesn't get patched. Okay. Sometimes when she comes up, she's like, I want to sit on your lap, Mom, and see everybody. She does not get patched. She's 2. She has plenty of energy. We don't need any pep in her step. That's for sure. We all get to sleep for 7 hours a night, and that's it. That's when she sleeps. So we're all grateful for those 7 hours. We don't want to keep her up any longer. So you guys, after that happened with David starting LifeWave, after he had the research, he had ideas for other patches because he wanted to help people. He wanted to help people. And he knew that people had a problem with pain. They had a problem with sleeping. They had issues with inflammation. They had issues with toxicity, right? He had all these ideas. So he's invented a dozen different patches over the last 20 years. The patch I'm going to focus on right now is the one that I have. Well, I think I have right here. I have no idea. It's called X39. X39 is our patch that activates those master cells that I said earlier. When you had a sperm and an egg come together and they formed immediately in utero, those master cells are what was formed. That's what this patch activates. X39 activates those cells in your body that are responsible for repairing and regenerating anything and everything in your body that gets damaged. Now, when you're born, some of those cells stay what we call pluripotent, and they're able to help the body in whatever way the body needs. I want you to think back to when you were a kid. How many of you fell out of a tree when you were a kid? Right? Probably all of you. Or you fell off your bike, you fell off a bridge, not like a big one, but we had little bridges where we lived and there was creeks below, and sometimes we'd fall off of them into the creek, right? So we were always falling off stuff when we were kids. We were on 4-wheelers and bicycles, and we were toting each other, and we'd fall off into a ditch. It's like, whoopsie, there we go, get the bike out of the ditch, get the people out of the ditch. But we were kids. Our bodies healed like this. We just took off and we kept going. Can you imagine, and I don't know what age you are right now because I only see just a few people across the front, like Diane and Leah and Sharon. There's not many of your little boxes up there I see, but I know there's almost 500 of you on here. Can you imagine in your 60s or 70s falling out of a tree? How fast would your body heal if you fell out of a tree right now? If you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, if I fell out of a tree, I'm almost 50. If I fell out of a tree right now, that would not be pretty. If I fell off a little bridge right now, or if I crashed my bike into a ditch, oh my God, that would be horrible right now. Thank God I'm on the patches. But what if I wasn't, right? How fast can your body heal? Well, unfortunately, as we age, it takes longer and longer for the body to repair, to regenerate, to heal itself, because those master cells that this patch happens to activate are not activated in your body. They become dormant as we age. Look at that. Bob says he's 77. He does not bounce anymore. No, we don't. You watch babies bounce, kids bounce all the time. They hit the ground and they jump back up and go. That doesn't happen when we get down, when we're older. And so as we age, those cells become more dormant, less active, and our body's ability to heal itself declines. And so what this technology does is it activates that process in the body to be able to do what it did when it was a kid. So how is that happening? Well, inside of this white part is what David's invented. Inside of every patch is a different crystal lattice structure. And that structure is different in every patch. And so it's going to be a different solution of molecules. They are made up of organic, proprietary blends. Of course, we have patents on all of our patches, but proprietary blends of amino acids and oxygen, sugars, and water. Not things from your kitchen, all right, but actual molecules that form together in a lattice structure in the lab, right? Okay. And those are embedded inside of each patch. They are reflective like a mirror. And so when I put the patch on my body, remember we talked about earlier, we are light beings. We emit heat or light. I'm here on the East Coast right now. The sun is starting to go down. It's beautiful colors outside my windows, but it looks like cotton candy out there in the clouds right now. And the sun coming down, I won't be able to see the neighbors or the animals outside unless I'm looking through night vision goggles. And then I will see the heat or light being emitted from the bodies of the people or the animals right outside. That light is what this technology works with. So when I get up in the morning, I put on my X39 while I brush my teeth. I can put it on the back of my neck. I can put it below my belly button. I can put it right here. I can stick it right here. It does not matter where I put the patch. The key is that I put it on my body and I leave it on for 12 hours. Now, you guys watched me do that. No beams of light shot out from my chest. Nothing happened. So you're not going to see or feel anything when you put the patch on. But just know that leave it on 12 hours. During that time, it's going to activate a specific peptide in your body. That peptide is going to be responsible for turning on those master cells, for waking them up, for resetting them, and getting them back to their young, youthful, healthy state. So your body's master cells will go to work to repair and regenerate whatever's needed in your body in whatever order. We cannot direct them. Okay, keep that in mind as you're going to be asking me some questions here. I'm going to go to the chat in a minute. You cannot direct where these master cells go. Your body knows how to heal itself. It knows what to do first. I mentioned earlier, it may be emotional changes you feel. We can see changes in the brain on our clinical studies. Even as early as 3 weeks, we can see some changes. Pretty big changes start to happen around 6 weeks in the brain. Maybe you notice mental things first: clarity, focus, brain fog leaves, concentration, mental energy. You're getting more done in 3 weeks than you've gotten done in 3 years. That may be you. Maybe you have pain reduction first. Maybe you have pain that you've had for a long time, and all of a sudden, just the elevation of that peptide and the pain in your body leaves. Maybe you have less back pain, or maybe you sleep through the night, the very first night. I remember I patched Laura and Tommy Balzer that very first meeting we went to listen to David speak a couple days after I heard about this. And Tommy said he's never slept that deep in his entire life, that first patch. How did that happen? I don't know, right? Now for Laura, it was her shoulder pain. It was like, boom, within 20 minutes, that shoulder pain was gone. I don't know how that happened. It didn't happen that way for me. I didn't notice anything for 3 weeks. I'm like patching every day, nothing. And even when I did, I really didn't realize that anything changed. I was at the gym and everybody was complaining because I was lapping them on our exercises. I was going faster than they were. I was getting done with everything faster, and they had no idea why I was doing that or what was going on. And then I started paying attention. I'm like, oh, I am running faster. Oh, I am able to run longer. What's going on? What's changed? Oh, it's this patch. That's the difference. Okay. And my husband, same thing. He didn't notice anything on day one. About a week or so in, he started to notice less pain. Remember I told you he's crashed everything? Dirt bikes, four-wheelers, bicycles, motorcycles, cars, trucks. He's broken, I think, everything except for one leg. So there's a lot of pain and arthritis in his body, but he started to notice changes within the first week. So using the patch consistently, leaving it on 12 hours, taking it off, throwing it away, doing it the next day and the next day and the next and the next until you cross all the things off your list. If you have something that's chronic, I was texting with somebody earlier, and he said, I've used this patch for 3 months and I didn't really notice anything different. I'm looking for pain reduction. And I said, well, we can't pick where your master cells go. So if it didn't get rid of the pain that's in your, low back, I can't tell you, what to do. Are you 30 years old? And he's like, no. I said, well, how old are you? And he said, I'm 50. I said, well, you need to keep patching a couple more months at least. But I said, is your pain chronic? And he said, oh God, yeah, I've dealt with this for over 20 years. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, you're going to need to keep patching longer. Because when you have something chronic, it takes longer to fix something chronic. That only makes sense. I said, now, if you actually want to get rid of the pain on the spot, buddy, let's talk about Eon and Ice Wave. Eon reduces inflammation. Inflammation's going to reduce pain. Ice Wave gets rid of pain on the spot. That's all it does. That was the second patch David invented. It doesn't heal anything, right? Of course, none of the patches do, but it doesn't set in motion any process in your body to heal something. It just gets rid of pain. It just opens up energy channels, works with the polarity of your body. Pain is stuck energy. Think about it. We just flew to Bora Bora last week or 2 weeks ago and flew back last week. Airplanes for longer than hours that are normal, sitting, even lying down. It was like, ooh, oh man, right? Sitting in airports. So there was a little extra pain that wasn't necessarily there all the time, right? We don't have pain. So we slapped our ice wave on our low back. I put a set on my hips because when I sleep on the plane, I like to sleep on my side. And so, those plane chair bed things are not super cushy. So I'm a side sleeper. So I put an extra set on my hips to make sure that there would not be any pain in my hips when I woke back up the next morning. So using your ice wave is just a quick fix. It's instead of popping a pill, which is a really good alternative. Remember, nothing's going into the body. Know that my X39, my Eon, are going to help my body to repair and regenerate, and they're going to do it over time. And so he was like, all right, cool. Give me the Eon and the ice wave. I'm like, yeah, exactly. Let's get rid of the pain. If you're in pain, let's get rid of it right now. It's X39 Eon ice wave. Use that combo. Put the patches all over the area that's hurting. I don't care if it's your shoulder, if it's your neck, if it's your wrist, if it's your back or your hip or your big toe. Put the patches wherever it hurts. You can put all of them there. I talked to a man last week and he's like, it's my left sciatica, my butt cheek. I said, well, then stick that left patch, that tan ice wave patch on that left butt cheek. And I want you to stick your right patch on the white patch on the right butt cheek. And then I want you to take the X39 Eon and I want you to put them all around that tan patch on your left butt cheek. He's like, I can put all three of them on my butt? I'm like, of course you can. And then he texts me next day. He's like, man, doc, that worked. I'm like, yeah, of course it did. You got to stick it where that pain is with that ice wave, right? And use the other ones all around it. So know that repair and regeneration take time. I don't know your time frame. I cannot give you a time frame because we're all different. There's no one person on this planet that is dealing with the same things, that has been exposed to the same things, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It doesn't work that way. So we're all going to heal at different times, different paces. But know that if you're consistent with this, you will see results, and that compounds over time. When you're activating peptides, when you're setting and processing in the body these biochemical reactions, peptides, all of this compound. So please understand that if you haven't felt anything yet, maybe you've patched for 3 or 4 weeks, or maybe you patched for 3 or 4 months and you haven't felt anything yet, don't stop before your miracle. Of course, make sure you're staying hydrated, right? Half your body weight in ounces every single day, minimum. We live here in Florida. I'm sure most places are getting hot now. You need more than half your body weight in ounces. I walk outside and I'm drenched in sweat. Brent and I went to just a little walk, quarter mile down the road last night to feed the cows that are down the road. They're not ours, but we adopted them. We love to feed them. We're just not going to talk about what the rest of their life is going to be. So we're going to give them all the food they possibly can, all the treats right now. We come back and his shirt is soaked, dripping in sweat. I'm like, you didn't run. We just walked down there. He goes like, I know, but it's so hot out here. And so, we're hot. So you've got to overcompensate with some water. Make sure you're using Celtic sea salt. You can get it on Amazon. I don't know, it's like $12 for a big bag. Use that. You can get it at your health food store. Celtic sea salt is fantastic. Trace minerals are vitally important to your overall health. Mineral deficiency is rampant. People's electrolytes are out of balance. Their body, their sodium potassium ratio, that magnesium, I think 70–80% of the population is deficient in magnesium, potassium. You need to get the minerals your body needs. And for cell to cell communication, for things to work correctly in the trillions of cells that you have, please get yourself some Celtic sea salt. Put a crystal on your tongue before you have a glass of water. I put it all over my food, breakfast in the morning, lunch in the midday, at evening time. Celtic sea salt goes on everything. We don't own iodized salt or any other pink Himalayan salt or any of that because this Celtic is so powerful in helping our bodies to stay in a hydrated state. Cellular hydration is very, very important, that your tissues are getting that water. So as long as you do that, you'll get results with your patch. Again, when will you get them? I don't know. You're going to have to be patient with the process. I was on a Zoom earlier today and a man shared, he held his journal up. He's been patching for 2 months and he had been writing down all the things that changed in his life, from breathing issues from childhood to different sleeping issues and different pains and just so many things that had changed in 2 months. And I said, it's a good thing you wrote that down. Most people don't write things down. And if they don't write it down, how do you really know what's happening? Sometimes you do, and sometimes you forget. Okay. So keep that in mind. Write it down, keep track, use our health tracker. The person that invited you can definitely help you get the health tracker if you don't have it yet. So let's go back here. Again, I'm just going to say this real quick for pain, X39, Eon, Ice Wave, put them around the location. That would be fantastic. So Michelle is asking, what do you do for people that stop breathing during the night? We don't have a patch for that. This is a perfect opportunity for this to come in. I knew this was coming. This even popped in my head earlier today. These patches are not the replacement for emergent medical care. If someone is not breathing, call 911. If they're having a heart attack, they've been in a car accident, they're having a stroke, call 911. When you call the dentist and they said, if this is a medical emergency, hang up and call 911. The patches are not your 911. So I can't tell you there's a patch to help you keep breathing through the night. I would never say that, as I would never say that this would treat any emergent situation. I have people that message me, so-and-so's in ICU. These are the issues. What patches? And I'm like, oh my God, they're in serious medical care. Like, if you can squeeze an X39 or Eon on, fantastic, but it may be touch and go. I've lived in ICU. Sometimes there's no anything, right? You're just living on a prayer. So get help, seek medical help, of course. Using X39 and Eon are fantastic to help bring the body into balance, but there's something else going on. So definitely make sure they're going to get medical attention for that, right? I would use silent nights at night. That can help with sleep. I'm not saying it's going to help with the breathing issue, but I would definitely use silent nights to help with a good night's sleep. What patches help adrenals? That's SP6. SP6 is our patch that balances the endocrine system. Endocrine system is a set of glands and organs starting up here in your pituitary, your pineal gland, the hypothalamus, thalamus, down in your organs like your adrenals, your pancreas, your intestines. So being able to balance these vital organs and glands in your body are going to help with your endocrine system, your hormone balancing, and that's definitely the SP6, okay? Burning stomach. Don't have protocols. I don't use protocols, so please understand you're not going to hear me give you a protocol. I would go to the doctor. Why is your stomach burning? Find yourself a holistic functional medicine practitioner and find out, do some testing, or maybe even go get an ultrasound. I'm not saying that there's not a place to go see a doctor to get a CT scan or an MRI or blood work or an ultrasound. Those things are very valid and warranted. You guys know my story. I lived in the hospital with my daughter for a whole year when she was littler, and a couple other times for months on end when she was a little bit older before she passed. And there is a need for diagnostic testing. So having a burning stomach, I'm not having one right now. And I'm sure probably the most of the 500 of you that are on here right now aren't having a burning stomach either. So go find out why. That's not normal, but I would always use X39 and Eon, okay? Always. What patches are good for healthy kidneys? Thank you, Sherry. That's a great way to ask that question. So when we look at organ function, specifically kidney function, I'm going to tell you the patches that impact the organs. All right, we know X39 impacts the organs. We know our Y-age patches. I love the name, Y-age. David called these Y-age because why would we want to age? They all have to do with helping you to not age. So Eon, carnosine, and glutathione. These three, and you can go to our website. I'm sure Leah or Laura will put it in the chat for you. StartX39now.com, and you will be able to see all the clinical studies. You want to see clinical studies on organ function, kidney function, statistical significant improvement in kidney function. You're going to look at these patches right here because you're going to see organ function improvement from our Eon, carnosine, and glutathione. Do you need all three? If I had an issue with my kidneys, I'd be doing everything possible. I'd be using the X39. I'd be using all three of these patches. Do you have to use all three? I'm not saying you do, but definitely use your X39 and your Eon. The other patch that helps with organ function, believe it or not, is our Alavita. This is our nighttime patch. This is our skin patch. Can you believe it? It's going to get rid of your lines, wrinkles, spots, sagginess, crepiness, all that stuff. But man, it does a whole lot more than that. We can see great improvements in organ function from aloe vera. It's reducing oxidative inflammatory stress in the body. It's just amazing. So highly recommend that patch every night, not just for the organs, but for everything. Okay. What patches would help with dry mouth? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know why your mouth is dry, but I'm just going to say X39 and Eon are great patches to start with. The body's out of balance for some reason. My mouth's not dry. I've been talking for 2 hours straight now on Zooms. I've had about 15 other Zooms today. I do have lots of water here with me. Maybe you're dehydrated. Maybe you need some Celtic sea salt and some clean, healthy water, and maybe squeeze a lime or lemon in it. I'm not really for sure. But again, I want you to keep in mind that organ function, system function, bringing the body into balance, no matter what it is, your X39 is going to do that. But we don't look at the body in terms of these diseases or issues that are happening, okay? So, are the patches really worn out after wearing them 12 hours? Well, Andrew, you could always just put one on and leave it on for the next year and see what results you get. Just joking. So I have a lady on my team named Rhonda. And this is what Rhonda did years ago when someone introduced the patch to her. They did not tell her what to do with it. And she put it on, I think she said she left it on 2 or 3 months and it never came off. And I'm like, oh my God, the same patch. She goes, I got no results. I'm like, I can't imagine why you didn't get any results. It's designed for 12 hours. Number one, we need a break from the patch. Remember, it's activating peptides, activating those master cells, putting the body into balance. Activate, activate, activate. Your body needs 12 hours off to have time to repair and regenerate. The patch, the molecules that are inside of this patch, those organic molecules, they start to dissipate after 12 or 14 hours. That's why we take it off after 12 and throw it on our pet. They get a little bit of the juice and it's good to go. And then it's gone. They're not effective. And we have 20 years of clinical studies. If they were effective, and this is not about money, people, okay? We're a 20-year-old company. This is about helping people improve their quality of life. If they were effective to be used every single day, all day long for 24 hours, 48 hours, that's what the studies would have shown. That's what David would have done, what he would have proved to be the most effective. The body needs a break. We need a break. You cannot signal these molecules all the time. It's like leaving these lights on that I have to have on right now because now it is dark outside. I can't leave these lights on all the time and expect them to always work. They're going to burn out a lot faster. You're going to burn out. Your body won't respond. It'll be like, no, it's called attenuation. Won't happen. Okay, so 12 hours only. What patches are recommended for severe ringing in the ears? Oh, that's a loaded question too. We've got a lot going on in the brain if you've got ringing in the ears. So using our X39 Eon, some people like to put them on the mastoid bones behind the ears. Sometimes it helps for people, sometimes it doesn't. Some people will take energy enhancer and they'll put them right here on the TMJ, that bone right here. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. Eon, of course, like I said, is a must. Glutathione has helped people in the past. When you have this, your ears are connected, they're in your brain. A lot of times there's an excess of toxicity. So glutathione and carnosine will help with that because they are those master antioxidants. So I play around with it. I've heard different people have different success with different patches in different time frames. Chronic headaches. So when you have headaches, again, something's out of balance in your brain, right? But your brain doesn't feel pain. So where's that coming from? Like the brain itself does not feel pain. So there's the pain's coming from something else. So what is it? Is it my neck? Is it the stress in my life? Do I need to use my Eon to help balance my nervous system, to help my stress load? Do I need to go spend some more time in nature, shut off the phone, tell the people, no, I have boundaries. I got to take care of me. What is it that you need to do? Or maybe it's your hormones. Do I need to make sure my hormones are in balance? That's why I think it's always good to have some type of holistic practitioner working with you to give you a diagnostic to say, this is what's going on or this is what's out of balance in your life. If you don't have that, I highly recommend you find somebody because for me personally, I've always sought out chiropractors, craniosacral therapist, acupuncturist, massage therapist. I just made an appointment today, Lindsay. If you're on here, I got the appointment with the lady. She made a special exception when I go to Indiana next month to have a cranial sacral energy appointment with me on a Friday afternoon. I'm like, yes, I cannot wait, right? I'm always seeking out people that are always body workers that are there to help the body get into balance in different ways. So seek that out if you don't have that yet, because it's really a simple chiropractor could help with headaches, right? Patch wise, I've already told you the ones for pain, X39, Eon, and Ice Wave. So you can definitely use those. Put them on all of your forehead if you want to. Go to the grocery store. I don't care. But you can also stick them, on the back of your neck. Or I've got people that patch on the top of their head. Some people will put a hat on and they'll put their patch on the inside of the hat and wear that to help with their headaches. So, but go outside and ground. Get in nature. Get your bare feet on the grass. At least 10 to 15 minutes every single day. No phone. Get outside. Stand in the dirt, mud, sand, rain, snow, sleet, ice, whatever it is. Just get your feet connected to earth. It will reset your autonomic nervous system and help to rebalance your body and give you that connection that you want to the divine, to be able to live your life on purpose. Trust me, it is so powerful and it's free. It doesn't cost anything. It's free to get outside and connect, okay? So, oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear it helped your TMJ. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yay. Okay, so let's look at some more questions here. Oh, I love that. Kathy and Terry said when Terry, her husband, had cancer, his doctor asked what kind of stress had he been under the year prior. Oh, that's a smart doctor. That's great to hear. Does anybody know about copper supplements to support the patches? Yes. I'm going to tell you my favorite one right now. Are you ready? Dark chocolate. Okay, 70% plus cacao. Give me some good, healthy, non-toxic, because a lot of times chocolates are full of heavy metals, so don't go buy a Hershey's brand or something crappy like that. But a good, healthy, dark chocolate is going to be an easy way to get just one square to get the copper you need in your body every day. If not, you can get chlorophyll. There's chlorophyll drops. You can buy them on Amazon. I've had them for years. They have like a little mint flavor to them. Chloro-oxygen, I think is what it's called or something. They're really good, really safe, healthy. That's a great, I personally am not eating liver. You can eat liver if you want, but here's the way I look at this, you guys. I don't want to take a supplement or a pill if I can get it from a food, right? I would rather eat the chocolate or do the chlorophyll, which is naturally occurring right from nature. I would rather have that than to take a supplement, unless you just have to take a supplement, okay? So, thank you for sharing my YouTube channel. I appreciate that, Jenny. If any of you are interested in seeing more of the videos, you can see there's tons and tons and tons of stuff, right? Okay, so make sure I don't want to talk about diseases here, so I'm kind of like skip down through where you guys are talking about all kinds of diseases. So if you're trying to activate the pancreas, I love that. Thank you, Heather. Would you put the X39 patch over the pancreas or on the back of the neck? Is there a different patch recommended in addition to the X39? That's a great question. So the patches don't have to go on location in order for them to work, except for the Ice Wave. We want your Ice Wave to be on location of where the pain is because there's stuck energy there and we need to open that up. So with any other patch, they work what's called systemically, meaning no matter where you put them, the peptides that are activated, they're going to go do whatever they need in your body because they know how to do that. Your body's smart. So with the X39, you're activating those master cells. They'll go wherever they need first. I do not need to put this patch on my back of my neck if my issue is my cervical spine. I don't need to put it on my knee if my issue is bone on bone. It doesn't work that way, okay? Now, when we're looking at supportive patches to support specific functions like your pancreas, I would definitely use the carnosine, okay? Always Eon, because you got to reduce the inflammatory process, right, in the body. But I would use this carnosine because carnosine actually helps balance the glycation process. And so this is a very powerful patch to help that pancreas out, to make sure that you're keeping that blood sugar in check. I would also really use the SP6. It's a fantastic patch for that endocrine system. And we know that also impacts the pancreas as well. So that would be a great one, but you don't have to patch. And with the SP6, you can't patch. You have to patch on the locations in the booklet because it works by activating a biochemical process in the body with the body's biofield. So it's not actually activating a peptide, and it works on the spleen meridian. So inside of the left ankle, inside of the left calf, or the knee. There's an instruction booklet that comes with it. Don't worry. I don't know if I have the SP6 one right here with me or right not. I have some of them. Oh, I do. Yay. Okay, good. So SP6, left side of the body. It says this in the booklet. And these are your spots you can pick. So you want to pick one of these spots to impact the endocrine system. Okay. But when you're looking at glutathione or eon or carnosine or SP6, stick it anywhere you want. It's gonna work no matter what. Okay. So you don't have to put it over the location. If you want to put carnosine on your pancreas, you can. If you want to put eon or X39 on your pancreas, you can. It doesn't mean they're going to impact them directly just because you're sticking them there. Okay. Okay, so Janine says, what do I tell my friend who started using the X39 and eon, and on day 2 put ice wave patches on the bottom of her feet and pain subsided from her feet, legs, and hips? Then on day 7 went to emergency thinking she was having a stroke, but it turned out to be Bell's palsy. She thinks it's the patch that caused it. Aww. Okay, I get this a lot with people. I get a lot of times that people will start patching and things will happen in their life health-wise, right? Maybe their blood pressure goes up, or maybe they have, an issue like that with a diagnosis of something. And they're like, I think it's the patch. And I'm thinking, no, it's not. And any medical doctor would tell you that using a non-transdermal patch cannot trigger any medical condition that's harming you at all in your body. And if it did, of course, we wouldn't be in business, right? We wouldn't have a company. We have over 90 clinical studies that show 0 adverse reactions at all from patching. There's no way possible that a patch can cause something to happen to you in a negative way to your health. You can't have a stroke. You can't have a heart attack. Those are all things that have been going on a long time inside of your body, long before you put that patch on to cause that to happen. Okay. So if you understand the disease process in the body, when you feel pain, now, if you're in a car accident, that's a different situation. If you fall out of a tree, you're going to feel pain immediately. But when you feel pain in your body, that chronic pain, right? It's been building over time, or you've got these digestive issues that have been building over time. You've been dealing with IBS or whatever, your blood sugar issues or your heart, whatever. Those things all happen over time. They compound in the wrong direction. And then your body's screaming at you, and you start to see these symptoms or issues of what's happening at the underlying root of the problem, which is an imbalance in the body. The patches will never put your body out of balance. They are always going to help bring you into balance. Your body's always seeking homeostasis, and these master cells are what's responsible for that. So just let her know it can never happen. It's never a possibility that they can cause you to have Bell's palsy. Whatever was taking place, probably emotionally, stress in your body caused that to happen, right? Something else was happening that's been happening for quite some time. Maybe you didn't realize it, or maybe you didn't have time to deal with it, and now all of a sudden it's manifest and made a problem in your life, and you've got to bring it to attention, right? And you're going, oh, I just started patching. Maybe it's the patch. No, it's not the patch. Guaranteed, definitely 100%, without a shadow of doubt, it's absolutely not the patch, okay? So, Leon, when we look at varicose veins, so when we look at the circulatory system, right, we look at that vascular system in our body, we always look at X39. We can see vascular improvements. We always look at eon, right? You've got to reduce inflammation in the body. You've got to increase blood flow in the body to help the veins. And so that's really important for the X39 and the eon. I also love X49. X49 is fantastic for your cardiovascular system, for the whole vascular system, which obviously includes your veins. So I would definitely use that X49 as well too. We've already talked about pain, low back pain, different types of pain. So it's important, X39, eon, and ice wave. Hormone balancing. So we talked about the SP6, balancing your endocrine system, set of glands and organs. Of course, you're using that with your with your eon and your X39. Also, Alavita at night. When I talked about earlier the clinical studies with Alavita and what it does for the organs, that includes the female and male reproductive organs. in a big way. So I would definitely use aloe vera every single night. You guys know, I don't think I have it here with me right now, but we have the Shine and Dream. Shine and Dream are fantastic sprays that Shine is during the day, Dream is at night, and they have amazing benefits on that hormone balancing. So I would definitely use those too. Okay. I live in Palm Springs. Patches come off when I play pickleball and golf. What can I do to keep them on? Stick them. Who is that? Pam. Stick them in your bra, girlfriend. That's what we do. Patches end up in sports bras. They end up in swimsuits all the time. They're still working perfectly fine. Stick them in your pocket, stick them in your bra, stick them in your panties, whatever you want to do. That's what I would do. Guys, stick them in your pockets, stick them in your socks, put them in your socks. They're going to work on your feet. Are all patches in development for children? So if you know anything about the holistic nutritional vitamin supplement world, nothing can be tested on children. We do not have any clinical studies with children at all, nor can we. You can't test on kids. No one's lining their children up to be tested except the ones that we take to the pediatrician that do all of those types of testing with all those, what do you call those things? Inoculations? Yeah, there's some testing for you, unfortunately. So we see from our personal people, our experiences, my first two people I patched were my children. And we see great results in them from using the patches on them. But it is a personal choice. Okay, we cannot recommend you patch your child. I will tell you again, there's nothing going in into the body from the patch. There's nothing harmful. There's nothing toxic, detrimental. I mean, you're going through McDonald's, getting a burger and fries. You're going through Chick-fil-A, think you're getting chicken. You're not getting chicken. You're getting 54 other things, but not chicken. That's toxic. That's harmful. The patches, no, they're only going to help bring the body into balance, no matter what your age is. Okay, 2 to 102, anything in between. But that's your personal choice. But we are not going to do clinical studies on kids. Okay, but you can definitely use them if you want. All right, when we talk about neurological things, we've got just a couple minutes. So we're going to talk just a little bit about the brain. All right, X39 is huge for the brain. We can see changes in at least, or a little as 3 weeks, but really 6 weeks. We start to see those changes in our clinical studies. So I did a whole segment last year with Dr. Don Verholst. He's a medical doctor. We dove deep into, for 4 weeks, neurological, X39, X49, Eon, carnosine, glutathione. These patches are huge for the brain, right? So very important to use the different patches for the brain. If it were me and I had a neurological issue, I would be using them all. If I had a family member that did, they would be using them all, unless it was my mom. She still doesn't patch, but it's fine. I'm sure my mother-in-law and father-in-law would, because they already use 39, 49, Eon. They love the patches. But if they had it, they don't have neurological issues. My father-in-law did have a stroke, but he's perfectly fine. He started patching right after he had the stroke, and a pacemaker put in actually 3 years ago. And so he walks 3 to 6 miles every single day and super active and on the go and traveling the world and stuff. So know that, neurologically, these patches can definitely help over time, no matter what the neurological issue is. Okay. So patches for gallbladder, I would look again at your X39 and your Eon for sure. Probably SP6 would probably have a little bit to play in there as well too. But I would definitely look at that. How do we get our A1C down and repair the kidneys? So we don't have really a lot. We have 2 minutes left, so we don't have time to go into like a deep dive on A1C. You got to change your diet. You got to change the food. You have to be exercising. You need some cardio, some walks. You need some weight training. The sleep is important, but the food is key. Your food determines that blood work. And if you don't eat the right things over time, that blood work will get out of balance 99% of the time, right? If you've had an accident or a certain, like a car accident or something, that's a different situation. But if you're just saying, oh, my blood work's not perfect, change the food you're eating. Look at the supplements you're taking. Obviously, your patches, supporting that blood sugar, carnosine, SB6 is going to be important, but the food, you cannot replace the nutrition with a patch. It just doesn't work that way. All right. Will the SB6 be the best to support the pancreas? SB6 and using carnosine. Please use carnosine if you have anything to do with the pancreas. That is huge in the glycation process. And yes, it helps the heart, and yes, it helps the brain and other organs, and it's powerful in all of those. But it's in my functional med PhD program, there was a book called Anti-Aging Medicines. The #1 medicine was carnosine. And I had never heard of carnosine. I heard of L-carnitine, which is not the same, but I've never heard of carnosine until LifeWave. And I'm like, carnosine? What is carnosine compared to L-carnitine? It's a little different the way it works and all the different things that it does. But in my functional med program, it was the number one anti-aging medicine. It was the number one thing. Every time that blood sugar spikes, you age. Every time the blood sugar spikes, you age. Are you testing your fasting glucose in the morning? Do you know what it is? Use white vinegar. At night, use 2 or 3 tablespoons of white vinegar with a glass of water, big glass of water, and sip on that through your dinner and finish it after you're done eating dinner. Then don't eat anything else and check your blood sugar in the morning. White vinegar, I wouldn't use apple cider vinegar personally because right now I'm not finding any kinds that's really good and clean after all the stuff that's happened out there. But get an organic white vinegar. I use that, have a little bit at dinner time and put it in water so it cuts the flavor down if you don't like the flavor of vinegar, and it really makes a big difference in blood sugar. So anyway, you guys, if you did not get your question asked, because I know there were more in the chat, if you did not get your question answered, please get back with the person that invited you. They're going to be happy to help you. If they don't have the answer, they're connected to any of us, all of us that do have answers to help you. Because I know a lot of you are new. You're just getting started. Obviously, you're watching the replay and you're like, well, what do I do? Reach out to that person. They're going to talk to you about your needs, what's going on with you, the patches that will best serve you. You can hop on a 3-way call or a 3-way Zoom with someone to help you fill you in with a little bit more information. My YouTube channel is full. I had a lady message me just a little bit ago and she goes, hey, I need all the videos you have on pain. What patches for pain? And I'm like, oh my God. I talk about pain in every video. So I text Trey, he was gone. And I said, hey, I need all the shorts you can find really quickly on pain. And so he sent them to me and I forwarded them on to her and messaged her really quick. So I was like, oh, thank God. I just don't have them categorized that way. But he does all my editing on all my videos and makes all my shorts. And so he, obviously knows the words that he typed in to make them keywords and to search on YouTube for me. So he found a bunch that were on pain and sent them to her. So, everything you possibly could ever want to need or know, obviously David has done videos on. That's where I get my information. I've listened to videos for years of David talking about the patches, and all I do is just share the information that he shared. Now, obviously the other stuff I share about, Celtic sea salt and vinegar and that kind of stuff, I have 2 PhDs, so my world is nutrition and holistic health. But just know you can go to my YouTube channel and you can find all the information you need right there as well too. If you want to check out LifeWave's YouTube channel, again, that Start X39 Now website has all of our channels, all the information, studies, and PDFs. So please go there and check that out and get with that person that invited you. They're going to help you get set up with a wholesale pack that works best for you. If you're interested in below wholesale pricing, they can help you with that as well too. So you can help yourself and your family. So thank you all for being here this evening. I look forward to seeing you again next Tuesday. I have in the works right now to interview a doctor that's been with LifeWave for 2 years. So I'm excited to get to meet him. I have a call with him tomorrow and I anticipate he'll be joining us next Tuesday night. So join us back then and we'll send out the invite as soon as I get it. Thank you all and have a fantastic evening.